Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, wishing you a happy and healthy start to this lovely little Sunday over here from a very dreary and actually rainy Helsinki. Anyways, with that said, it is going to be a bit of a shorter video today, and I actually need to make a concerted effort for that. I had a bit of a medical situation yesterday, and my doctor has advised me to take it easy for like a day or so. Anyways, it's all good. Like seriously, nothing's like terribly wrong or anything like that. It's gonna be completely fine. So hopefully, yeah, we can just get on to the actual price and charts themselves today, as realistically, very little is actually different on the dashboard right now. So with that said, let's start it off over here with spot price action. It is a weekend, and of course, over the weekends, I do want to once again perhaps remind the newer people here, or also older people as well, that ultimately over the weekends on Fridays, I will close my positions. Because a lot of the time over the weekend, you do see kind of like trappy behavior. Things that are usually contrary to the prior week's direction, a lot of the time is more likely to happen over the weekend. So personally speaking, I find that my edge with technical analysis is more or less diminished over the weekend, and I just go and try to do other things with my life. And then if I want to open a position back up, I'll do it like late Sunday or early Monday if that makes sense. Perhaps something that you might want to consider as well. Anyways, with that said, actually, as far as price goes here, last couple days, pretty shitty actually. Another rejection upon the yellow 21 exponential average, and Bitcoin is once again trading below all major moving averages except for the 377 right here. Ultimately, though, this is a stark contrast to what we're looking at on CME as far as Friday closure doesn't go. In fact, looking at CME right here, I would say that the possibility of a trap is very much in the topic of conversations right now. And how would I be looking at this? Well, it's actually pretty simple right here. If we go down to the short-term time frames, remember on, I think it was Friday, we overlaid the condition that if Bitcoin broke back down below the prior low from, I think it was Thursday, which was about 36,000 bucks, then we'd be looking for a continuation to about 34.5 or wherever this level. Yeah, actually right around there. Hey, nice. Once in a while, that TA bullshit sometimes works. Anyways, as it stands right now, what would I be looking for in order to declare and confirm a trap, a bear trap in this case, to the upside? I'd be looking for any sort of a 4-hour delta closure above about $36,000. You can see that Bitcoin did give a try there yesterday. Reject. No closures above, to be fair. But if it were to do it today or early tomorrow on Monday, without breaking about 34,500 on a 4-hour closure to the downside first, I would be looking at that as confirmed bear trap once again, and I'd be looking at Bitcoin to trade back up to the top side of this formation, somewhere around about $37,000 to $38,000, where we have these nice declining highs coming in, which is always very, very bullish, of course. Anyways, with that said, I still do look at CME chart as the most relevant chart. The reason being because it is the most professional chart. I mean, that is the one that all of the major accounts are probably trading on, and it is the most liquid futures exchange, except for OKX, but there is definitely some, questionable activities going on over there regarding wash trading, which you can maybe look up yourself. But at the end of the day, generally speaking, my opinion on this asset really hasn't changed. In the last few weeks here since we got down into this range. More or less, I think best case for Bulaws is you see about a sideways range between about 30,000 and maybe 45 or 50,000 bucks the upside for the next 2 to 3 months. And for the Barras, I mean, what are you looking for right here? Well, first and foremost, we want to see that short-term area break that we just spoke about down here at about 34.5. That wouldn't necessarily fully do it for me, although that would look pretty fucking bad, to be fair. At that point, I would be looking for continuation down about another $1,000 to $1,500 lower. Very likely another bounce somewhere right around here is what I'd actually be looking towards. About 33 even or so. And at that point, Bitcoin starts to either close dailies below our low side structure, which is about 31, or a weekly, which we are closing today, obviously, which is going to be about 32.5 we'll call it. Then I would be looking for Bitcoin to start to initiate those major targets much, much lower. We're talking about, $25,000 and then $20,000, kind of the same thing that everyone's talking about. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that most people are not talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because, I don't really have a good read. We're all stuck in our own echo chambers, obviously, but I would be curious to know, what is the general disposition of this market? Are people mostly bullish or mostly bearish? Are there more people looking for $50,000 or more people looking for $20,000? I think that would actually be rather interesting to know, because I think the most likely thing to happen is Bitcoin just goes sideways, bores the absolute ever-living shit out of people, and then perhaps digs itself out of its little corner. Anyways, going back down into the lower term timeframes over here, and regarding that trap behavior, or a potential trap is what I should say, what would I be looking for as well? Or can we get any sort of biases from our momentum oscillators on the short term timeframes here as well? Well, we can go over here to our momentum charts and see what we got going on. All right, 4 hour is actually curling back around, will inevitably cross the upside on the next closure anywhere above 35,200, and we actually do see a nice little trend line coming in from our last few lows around here as well. In fact, pulling it out to see if there's any more involved, and yep, right around here would be about right. And that one's going to be closing in when? In about 2.5 hours. We got to the 3 hour right here. What are we looking at? Actually flip-flop down. However, the magical number for this one is about 35.6. Buy hourly is 35.250, technically down right now. But of course, if that target is met, then both the 2 and the 4 hour will turn up. And then if we go over here to the hourly, down as well, actually. So pretty much all of them technically right now are all are on the downside, but you can see that they all have their sort of reversal points at around the 35.2 to 35.4 level region. And if we do start to close some, especially like 4 hour dildos above there, then I'd be looking for them all to kind of revert. And if you do see any sort of a closure, even, I mean, maybe even at this point, you could even use yesterday's highs continuation point as well, which is 37.5. Okay, well, that's probably not happening right there. Okay, maybe just the high of this little this consolidation right here would work. 36.250-ish region. Then I would be looking at that as confirmed bear trap yet again, and I'd be looking at Bitcoin to pop back up towards 39,000 bucks overall, and very likely continue on with the scenario that I've been speaking about for a while here, which is, you think that's bullish, but we bring it on over here where we look at the bi-weekly and the bi-weekly MACD and several other things as well, which I won't go through all of them today. Again, I do have to make this a bit of a concerted effort to make this a little bit faster. Do potentially, or at least historically speaking, do suggest that we probably do have a potential trap to be waiting for in the mid to upper $40,000 territory. Let me explain. Or maybe you could just make the decision for yourself. But looking at the bi-weekly MACD here, we have about 3 iterations in the history of Bitcoin where we have gotten a downside cross. Everything else has been upside, essentially. And all of these downside crosses have about the same signature, where we do see a drop down to the 20-simple moving average. Bitcoin basis upon that rallies up into the non-exponential average. That's that blue one right there. And then rejects and closes on new lows and continues with the downtrend for a while, we'll say. So we have this one right here, obviously. We have this one in 2018, same thing, based on the 20 simple, bounced up to the 9, comes down after rejection. And again, each and every one of these dildos represents 2 weeks of price action. So this takes a while. It's not happening today or tomorrow. Like it's a slow molasses type of move, but we do see it happen. And then of course, going back to 2014, 2015 over here, same thing. Bitcoin basis just below the 20 simple average in this case, bounce up a little bit above the non-exponential average, rejects, and down we go. Where we stop, only Bear Jesus knows. Anyways, as it stands right now, where is that current level coming in around? About, low $40,000 region. Again, it typically does trade above, at least tries above for a little bit of time. And then ultimately, typically does come down, and then bases on the 55. In fact, I mean, we saw the same thing right here. This one breaks it. This breaks it too. Just ignore that. And this one bases on it as well, and then breaks it too. Hey, what the fuck is that bullshit, Krown? You can't be talking about bearish shit on this channel. It's something to be aware of, obviously. However, at least for the time being, I do think that at least I'd be very much open to the possibility of Bitcoin moving into the mid to upper $40,000 territory, probably rejecting there, and then coming back down somewhere around mid, maybe low $30,000 territory. I would not call like a mega breakdown after that just yet, but it is very much a consideration that if Bitcoin were to get into that region again, I imagine a lot of people get very, very bullish and very excited, and we'd actually probably see the open interest go up for the first time concertedly since really the dump started about a month ago now. And remember, we used to be at about over 13 billion in open interest, came all the way down to 5 billion. So realistically, if you're looking for fuel for a downside move from here, I think it's just a little bit less likely to happen, to be quite honest with you. I do still kind of remain with the general disposition that Bitcoin probably tries an upside move first, and then if it wants to go for the downside move, it'll go for the downside move. Still, the most likely thing in my opinion is probably just sideways for a long time. Now, with that said, there's a few other things lined up within that region as well, which I think are worth talking about. One of them would be, of course, CME's gap right here. CME gap coming in right around upper $40,000 territory between about 47 and 48, which has yet to be filled. Of course, that also is going to be around the 0.5 and 6.8 Fibonacci retracements here. You can also look at it on this chart right here, your classic sort of bear trappy areas. And is there anything else that I want to mention about that? There are a few other things that do come in around that region as well, but I don't suspect I want to get into them right now because that's just going to make this video a lot longer. Anyways, the 3 things that I'm looking for to denote a major and likely actually macro low in Bitcoin as well have still yet to happen. So we can do the daily perusal of that as well. Do we have a blue buy signal on the hash ribbons? No, we don't. We actually don't. In fact, this is about the longest time I think it's ever taken at this point. I think it's been almost 2 months now. I think there's one other time where we've taken about 2 months for like a real move. Yeah, maybe going back here to like way back here to 2014 or so. Anyways, as it stands right now, it's not even that we don't have a blue buy signal. We can't even get a blue buy signal for a while as we're still in the recovery phase. So take that as you will once again. Anyways, so that would be probably one of the more important ones, because anytime we have seen one of these blue buy signals, all of the instances, which I believe are 11, all of them but one have essentially confirmed the macro low. The prior low was the macro low for that next move, essentially for that next cycle, and Bitcoin never trades below that after that. So I do think that that's very much relevant to be calling out, and I'll just leave that right there. Anyways, okay, then the next one, and just as important, would be I want to see a higher low on Bitcoin. Do we have a higher low right now? No. In fact, we actually have, if anything, a lower high right here. Now, Bitcoin was kind of putting the same highs right here on the daily for a while. This would actually be our first sort of lower high, to be fair, in line with our first lower, well, I wouldn't say it's a lower low, or it's not, I wouldn't say it's our first lower low, it's just another lower low right here. Anyways, if Bitcoin does put in a higher low right here, that would yet again play into the potential, a strong, not just a potential bear trap, but a confirmed bear trap, and very likely Bitcoin does move up into the mid $40,000 territory first before giving the the downside another test there. But remember, at the end of the day, it took about 3-4 months to distribute price action over here on the highs after a 6-7 month just straight melt to the upside. Realistically, do you think that price action is going to reverse after just 1 month? And I think we're like literally just the 1 month part from breaking down. Yeah, a little bit over a month now since initial breakdown. Unlikely, no, unlikely. It's the general rule is you kind of want to see about the same time spent consolidating on your highs as you do your lows for major and perhaps macro reversals, and we just don't have that right here. That'd take most of summer, I imagine. So again, I do think the best thing for Blue Law is to just go sideways and pray to Blue Law Jesus. Anyways, what was I doing over here? Okay, do we want to look at also I forgot about momentum oscillators here. We did just close a 2-day, I believe. Let's see what we're looking at right now for regarding momentum. 34.1 is the magical number right there. Daily is 32.5. 3-day is 36.3. Right around that trappy area as well. Not closing tonight, by the way, closing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Standard Time. 5-day is 37.7 and closing one tomorrow night as well. And weekly is nowhere to be seen, so we'll just ignore that one right now. What about 12-hour here too? Yeah, 36.5, not looking too hot right there. What about CME? Very interesting. We'll remain to the upside as long as we're above 33,900 region, it looks like. So fair enough, a lot kind of riding on this current short term right here. But again, if Bitcoin can just, kind of glide sideways a little bit, and let me just well, I guess we can use this one right here. It's all the same shit anyways. Bitcoin can just not break below 34.5, no 4-hour closures below there. And then more importantly, close back above $36,000 on a 4-hour, or even just take out the high side of this sort of consolidation wick right here, which is 36,258. And stamp that as, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to pop back up to the top side of the range. We probably do see that run into the $40,000 territory. Personally speaking, I think I mean historically speaking, that is the more likely thing to happen, to be fair, based off of the other signatures that we did see. There's another one with moving averages as well, which do I want to do this right now? How long is this video? All right, it's only 13 minutes, so it's not that bad. Not that bad, but we can do it really fucking fast, I think. And we'll just basically be looking at these three guys right here. Red 10, yellow 21, cyan 89. And anytime that we've had this setup where Bitcoin drops down to the cyan 89, and then we get the 10 symbol cross on the downside of the 21, well, kind of the same thing as the bi-weekly MACD. And in fact, a lot of the same situations as well. What do we have right here? Boom, based off right here, crosses, rejection, and down, closing on new lows. What do we have right here? Based on the 89, crosses right here, rejection, and down. What do we have? Right here, based on the 89, bounces up, crosses, and rejection and down. Nice. If we were to not include the cyan 89 exponential average, we could look at the coronavirus dump time right here. That'd be an example where where price action bouncing into it does not get rejection, actually moves all the way up to the upside. But what we do see every time on this cross, is that price action does actually test into the cross. And that's my main thing right here. And where's the cross currently happening around? Mid $40,000 territory, about $44,000 to $45,000 right now. So, that's kind of my point, is that I actually do think that it's more likely to try some upside first, and then if Bitcoin was to try some downside. Anyways, let's bring it over to some astrology and witch bullshit over here, of which, well, Well, just let it speak for itself. How about that? All right, so here we go. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Paranoid of the Discord for tipping me off towards this, because it's very interesting, actually. These sorts of things I want to always push back on, but can't argue with results, I suppose. Anyways, what we did is we took, or what Paranoid did is he took a Fibonacci time extension starting from the macro breakout in October of 2020, breaking above all these range highs right here, and then putting it on the first major, like massive, highly volatile high that Bitcoin put in over here, just referencing down here, boom. And more importantly, after that, I think the results kind of speak for themselves. You can see that all of these areas have been met with, well, reversals, and actually all of them reversed to the downside as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just hit our fifth one right here. And technically speaking, that is coming to the downside. Let's take this one step out over into fucking Mars and Venus now and really put on our tinfoil hats. But again, I will reserve judgment here. And again, judge the results for yourself, I suppose. The moon chart, we got a bear moon and we got a bull moon, and we just got a bear moon, I guess, a couple days ago. So that also kind of coming in on the downside pivot there too. So fair enough. I do want to represent both sides equally. Of course, so at the end of the day, as I did reiterate earlier, my major continuation points for like mega downside, we're talking like targets deep into the $20,000 territory, would be either a daily closure below about $31,000 or a weekly below about 32.5. Closing a weekly tonight, and obviously we're closing daily as well, but the weekly is a little bit closer right now. And I imagine if we actually do crack below this 34.5 level, right? This 34.5 level right here, then yeah, you probably actually do have to hold your breath by end of day if you want to be bullish, because that weekly will very likely give you a test, I imagine. Next target region to the downside would actually not be 33.8. I don't know what that's in reference for. It'd be something more along. Yeah, more along here, actually, somewhere right around about 33 even or so. And I'd be looking for another short-term bounce there. But look, the second that you break below 34.5 and come anywhere back down around your prior low, I mean, it's just not fucking bullish to retrace your whole goddamn rally, especially off of, it was a pretty damn good bear trap right here, to be fair, all things considered. So I do think that Bitcoin's gonna have a chance here. I mean, perhaps it's even the trap happening right here, right now. But again, I want to see price action above this region. That'd actually be a bit of a BART, if you remember from a couple of years ago. Fun times indeed. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it right there. Again, I do have to make this a little bit more on the fast side. And hey, I did it below 20 minutes. Hey, not bad. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this one up. Take care, and I wish you a nice and safe trading day if you are trading. And hopefully see you next time.